Are you ready for a discussion about the best comic book related event ever this year so far? Forever? Here it is!
Hey, 怒った?
怒ってないよ。
Avengers Infinity War was a roller coaster ride with a big bump in the middle, but if you're willing to ignore that, you'll have a good time. I wasn't willing to ignore. That's not to say I hated the movie. In fact, I liked it quite a bit. It's just that the setup to a particular endgame moment was pretty bad in my opinion. But I still think it's a great film. So that being said, let's get to the movie.
Oh my god, I just gave away the ending. Spoiler alert!
The movie starts with the Asgardian ship being totally destroyed. And I gotta say,
I'm loving it.
I like it because in my head, the rock person gets turned to dust. Thor's being held by Thanos, everything looks bleak, but we got a Hulk, bitch!
Smash!
Since we're just like 5 minutes into the movie, we know it's not gonna end here. Hulk gets beat up faster than you could say, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled pepper, Piper Piper, Peter Piper picked.
We're done, bro.
If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers,
bro.
how many pickled peppers did...
Bro.
Heimdall teleports Hulk to Earth. He dies for it. Loki pretends to ally with Thanos and plans to kill him. He dies for it. Ship blows up, Thor's inside it, Hulk lands on Strange's Sanctum, title drop. I think this first sequence of events really sets up the tone well. There will be some light moments, but it will ultimately fail in the face of this tremendous villain. Let me fix the title card for you. We cut to Iron Man and Miss Potts flirting around, just having fun in the afterglow of their post-engagement announcement. Continuity, isn't that fun?
Huh? You still got that ring? The
Are
engagement.
you kidding? I've been carrying this since 2008.
Strange ruins the day by informing Tony of the plot. Banner shows up. They hug. Okay. Wong gives brief exposition on the stones.
Before creation itself, there were 6 singularities.
Blah, blah, blah.
After the exposition, we get clumsy humor. I hate the bants here. It was artificial. Something about ice cream and how Stark was made of flavor by Ben & Jerry's, yada yada.
Who cares?
What I mean by artificial is that the joke comes at the expense of the story. It's like they stopped the tension just to tell some joke, instead of the humor arising naturally from the character interaction or from the situation at hand. Like this!
This still may be the best chance we have against them.
Yeah, so conversely, it may also be his best chance against us.
So if we don't do our jobs,
What is your job exactly besides making balloon animals?
protecting your reality, douchebag.
It comes from the characters because they're butting heads. They both think they know what they're doing is the right way to go about it because they're both full of themselves. The writers knew this because seconds after they do the ice cream joke, they do the bants between Strange and Iron Man. So I have no idea why that joke made it in there. It's like somebody told them they had to have a joke there to make the people laugh. I gotta say, I love the delivery of Benedict Cabbage Patch in that section. What? That's not his name. My bad, guys. This is his real name that's popping up on the screen right now. They all decide to protect the stones.
Vision is out there somewhere with the Mind Stone, and we have to find him now.
But Iron Man tells Banner he doesn't know where Vision is. Who can find him? Captain America. Call Captain America. But Civil War happened. Call Captain America, you fuck. But then the bad guys come. And Hulk doesn't want to come out of Banner.
Well, performance issues, it's not uncommon. 1 out of 5.
During this fight, Strange gets kidnapped. Spider Dude finds out about the whole thing.
We're all gonna die! There's a spaceship! Oh my god!
Helps Stark, and they all fly into space, which conveniently transitions into
Space, the final frontier.
Oh! Wipers! Wipers! Get it off!
this scene happens.
The entire time I knew him, he only ever had one goal. To wipe out half the universe. If
he gets all the Infinity Stones, he can do it with the snap of his fingers.
We get a convenient info dump. Thanos is probably going to Knowhere to get the Reality Stone. And the Nova Corps got owned, that's why he has the power gem. So Thor decides to go to the Starforge planet with Groot and Rocket to get a weapon that could kill Thanos. The remaining Guardians decide to go to Knowhere to get the Reality Stone from the Collector. While all this is going on, Gamora looks like she has something she wants to say, and this will be important later on. The reason why Tony Stark can contact Vision is because he turned off his communicator. Because he was with Scarlet Witch. I think it's a booty call. Okay, fine, they're in love. It's a romantic booty call. How do they have sex? When did he get a penis? That's the time to use your imagination. They walk by a convenience store. And conveniently enough, the thing that happened in New York is shown on screen. Then the plot decides to happen. Vision and Scarlet Witch manage to put up a fight, but at some point they're overpowered. And luckily enough, Cap and everyone else just happened to be in the area. Imagine that. They rescue Vision and the Scarlet Witch, and they all decide to go back to their original base. So you got like 4 plots going on. It reminds me of these JRPGs where you control different characters but they all lead to the big plot. In this case, it's just to defeat the big boss, Thanos. Really, I gotta commend the brothers Russo. They juggled all these characters well. I think you need 2 people to direct this really massive cast. And these plots could be summarized or self-contained, which is what I'm gonna do right now. We get a nice moment with Thor. His dad's dead. His sister, who he didn't know was still alive, was killed. His mother was killed in Thor 2, the worst movie ever. Heimdall was stabbed in front of him. His adopted brother was killed in front of him, and he couldn't do anything about it. So vengeance is all that he has left, and it's a kind of nice moment.
What more could I lose?
The Warriors 3! You forgot the Warriors! Rocket commiserates with Thor, tries to, alleviate his sadness. And he gives him the eye from Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Neat character moments which really make me like the story, make me feel invested. So they get down to the Forge world and they see that everything is dead. It's black. And the guy that greets them is Peter Dinklage. The little guy is a big guy. The dwarves there are big. Do you get it? Meta. Brilliant! Thanos hired this dude basically to make the gauntlet. He agreed on the condition that the dwarves that were in the forge with him be spared. Not only did Thanos kill all the other dwarves, he took out his hands too.
Consider this mercy.
At first he's reluctant to help Thor and the others. The guys convince him to make the weapon anyway. Stormbreaker. We then move on to the next group.
Let's go crazy!
Captain America and the other Avengers go into the old base to help Vision. Vision suggests to just kill him. Avengers say no. We don't trade in lives.
Most illogical reaction.
Really, what Thanos is after is the gem. So they just decide to separate the gem from Vision. Unfortunately, their base can't handle that. They don't have the technology. They have to go somewhere else. And that place just happens to be Wakanda. Also, Bucky and Black Panther are friends now. He even gives him an arm.
Excellent! Let's go crazy!
In some other part of space, Spider-Man helps Iron Man rescue Doctor Strange with another movie reference. Stark manages to convince everyone that instead of turning the ship around, they go to Thanos because he won't be expecting it. Which is strange either way because he's literally a god. I don't see anything wrong with this. What could possibly go wrong? Gamora has a flashback to her childhood. She and her mama get caught by Thanos. Thanos takes a liking to her.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
The flashback ends, Gamora has tears in her eyes, then she tells Quill to kill her if Thanos gets to her. Which is weird enough, right? Quill asks why, but Gamora refuses to tell him. Regardless, Quill agrees, they kiss. Drax-related humor. Then they go to Knowhere. Gamora manages to kill Thanos. But surprise! He's using the Reality Stone to warp reality! Thanos pwns Mantis and the other green guy, and then Quill has to kill Gamora. There's a touching moment between the two of them. They finally say they love you to each other.
It's just
settle down if you want.
it's an unspoken thing.
But when Quill is about to shoot her, reality disrupts everything. Thanos takes Gamora to his ship and incidentally explains to us his philosophies on genocide. He only kills half of the population to stop the plague of overpopulation.
Going to bed hungry, scrounging for scraps. Your planet was on the brink of collapse. I'm the one who stopped that. You know what's happened since then? The children born have known nothing but full bellies and clear skies. It's a paradise.
Which is dumb. The 50% that you leave behind will eventually get to 100%. So you gotta start all over again. So the solution to your problem really is to just kill everyone. Kill half the get the fuck out of here. And this is the real reason why he wants Gamora on the ship. She knows where the Soul Stone is. Hold up. At this point, Thanos has the Reality Stone. The power to control reality. Why don't you use the Reality Gem to figure out where the Soul Stone is, huh? More importantly, why didn't Gamora tell everyone else that she knew what Thanos wants from her? Star-Lord would probably go, hey, let's not go to Thanos, the guy that has 2 out of the 6 stones already. Maybe we shouldn't go there because we're not up to par. Maybe I can see that Gamora will get caught and everything will get fucked up. But I honestly think that's a better solution than what we have right now. And it gets problematic because it sets up the third act weakly. Gamora actually tells Thanos where the stone is because he's torturing Nebula. She's acting like a sister now, which is another nice callback.
You were the one who wanted to win, and I just wanted a sister!
You were all I had.
You were the one who needed to win. Thanos pulled my eye from my head, and my brain from my skull, and my arm from my body. Because of you.
So they go to the Soul Stone planet and the guy that's guarding it is the Red Skull. And the Red Skull tells Thanos that the price to pay to get the stone is to sacrifice something you love. And Gamora goes, fuck you, Dad, you never loved anything. But then, Thanos cries. Nani? Red Skull tells her he's crying for her. Thanos, in his twisted mind, actually loves Gamora. So how about that?
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
So Thanos gets the stone. You know what that means, right?
We're in the end game now.
Nebula manages to escape and heads to Titan and tells the other Guardians to go there. Which sets up the mandatory heroes fighting each other segment because of a misunderstanding between all of the heroes.
Why is Gamora?
They realize that they have one common enemy. And they stop fighting. They sort of stop fighting?
I think it's good, except it sucks. So let me do the plan, and that way it might be really good.
Wow.
While Stark is discussing the plan to stop Thanos, we see Doctor Strange saving and loading the game for like 19 million times, and he only found one way to win. Meanwhile, Steve and friends reach Wakanda, and Shuri figures out how to save Vision.
The structure is polymorphic.
Right, we had to attach each neuron non-sequentially.
Why didn't you just reprogram the synapses to work collectively?
Because we didn't think of it?
I'm sure you did your best.
Isn't it nice when the new characters shit on the old ones to prop them up? Isn't that a nice thing? Isn't that cool?
What are those?
On planet Dwarf, we have a complication. The dwarf can't make the God Killer weapon because the forge isn't started. Thor and Rocket manage to restart it, but there's still a problem. The opening that leads light into the forge to melt the metal is closed and it can't be opened. So Thor basically opens the little slit and tanks all the energy coming through it. Thor is dying, but the axe is made. They need a handle for the axe, and Groot manages to do something in the movie aside from being a whiny emo teen. Why did they cut the scene from the movie? It's actually pretty cool. Before the fight on Earth happens, Black Panther, Captain America, and Black Widow talk with Thanos' henchmen. Black Panther states that Thanos will have nothing but dust and blood.
You should choose your words more carefully.
Earth battle gets heated up. By the way, Hulk never appears in this movie again. The trailers lied to us. Banner is in the Hulkbuster armor. Thanos meets the guys on Titan, which turns out to be his old homeworld. And the reason why he's so genocidal is because of what happened in his planet. Overpopulation.
Titan was like most planets. Too many mouths, not enough to go around. And when we faced extinction, I offered a solution.
Genocide.
But random, dispassionate, fair to rich and poor alike. They called me a madman. And what I predicted came to pass. With all 6 stones, I could simply snap my fingers. They would all cease to exist. I call that mercy.
But little does Thanos know.
It's a trap!
Wait a minute. They're fighting on the planet Titan, and they're fighting an alien from that planet, a Titan. And the heroes are clearly outmatched. Which means... They managed to stop Thanos from moving with a combination of sticky tools and Mantis' sleeping powers. So they work on getting the gauntlet off. Meanwhile, the bad situation on Earth becomes good since Thor gets a power-up, shows up, and kicks ass. This is the best part of the movie. Quill is about to stab Thanos with a vibranium spear. And then Thanos goes, "Sacrificed her! My Gamora!"
Why did you say that name?
That's his daughter's name. And then Thanos and Quill look at each other's eyes, and they have an understanding. And they stop fighting. And then they fight Galactus, who shows up from nowhere with no build-up. And everyone's friends at the end. Of course, it doesn't fucking happen. Quill doesn't react like that when he finds out that Gamora dies. He acts like you would expect him to act. Be mad.
You shouldn't have killed my mom and squished my Walkman.
So Star-Lord gets angry and disrupts the whole thing. And at that dramatic moment when Peter is about to remove the gauntlet, Thanos gets it back because Quill was hitting him. Throwing Mantis off, everything turns to shit. This is what I mean when Gamora's subplot breaks the movie. Because this wouldn't have happened if she did the smart thing. I mean, I get that Quill would react this way. I didn't like that Gamora had to die in such a way. Could have avoided this section. I honestly think so. I mean, it's dramatic and everything, but I just didn't like how it was set up. Thanos and Iron Man duel, and it's actually a pretty awesome sequence. Thanos wins, of course, but he respects Iron Man.
You have my respect, Stark. I hope they remember you.
Before Thanos kills him, Strange bargains and gives him the Time Stone. So everything's going well on Earth until Thanos shows up. Surprise! At this point, the other Avengers are just stalling Thanos. Vision tells Scarlet to do it. A truly dramatic moment, and Scarlet Witch actually gets to kill Vision. However, Thanos rejects your reality. With Thanos has assembled the stones at this point, Thor manages to one-shot this fuck. He's almost dead, but then Thanos taunts him. Go for the head. Thanos kills half of the universe randomly. Thanos wins! Hey, did you notice that the founding Avengers managed to survive the culling? It reminds me of that Justice League episode where they have to face Brainiac and Luthor.
I doubt any of the others can get here any faster.
Then the 7 of us will have to be enough.
I think they're gonna finish the fight. Doctor Strange did say that it's part of the plan or something like that. So we're gonna have to wait until next year to conclude this thing. When all was said and done, I thought that Infinity War Part 1 asked a very simple question. What makes a hero? I'll use Commander Shepard to illustrate the two answers that the movie gave us.
Killing innocents doesn't end wars, it causes them. Sometimes 1,000 people must die so 1,000,000 can live.
For the past 10 years, the MCU used Paragon Shepherd. But now, it kinda went renegade, but not really when it comes down to it. To understand a bit about the renegade perspective, you gotta realize something that Avengers Infinity War did. It made Thanos the protagonist. Thanos is the focal character of the plot. The movie begins and ends with Thanos. His actions to collect the stones drives the events of the movie. The heroes are just reacting to it. Thanos is what I would call a villain protagonist. We see what's going on inside his head. We see his rants on Titan and his explanation to Gamora. He's essentially an asshole, but he thinks he's right.
The hardest choices require the strongest wills.
I already did a video on why villains are good in the Castlevania Netflix show. They're either so bad you want them to die, or you actually understand their motivations and they're kind of sympathetic, but you could still see that they're evil. And Thanos is in the latter. Speaking of sympathy, they did a lot to make Thanos sympathetic. Instead of Thanos wearing his scary armor, he takes it out and essentially wears a tank top and pants for the rest of the movie. Why?
They were able to sort of make him relatable.
Shut up, Zach! Also, he has some noble qualities. Like he was testing Quill if he has the resolve to shoot Gamora. And when he does, he compliments him. He also respects Tony Stark for standing up against him. The biggest hint that Thanos is the protagonist is that he wins.
I finally rest. Watch the sunrise on a grateful universe.
But ultimately, I think that Thanos is still a villain. It's because of the theme of the movie, sacrifice. The theme of the movie is sacrifice. How many lives would you offer for peace? And the Avengers constantly choose not to sacrifice. If the Avengers killed Vision at the start of the film, we wouldn't have this movie. If Strange abandoned Iron Man and just hid with the Time Stone, we would not have this movie. If Quill just shot Gamora when the opportunity presented itself, we would not have this movie. If Gamora decided to let Nebula suffer, we might not have this movie. But consistently, these heroes have said, no way. Captain America says it best.
We don't trade lives, Vision.
And to counter that, Thanos says, yes. Yes, this will bring peace. This will be the solution. Is it really though? Is it really? You are literally God, and your solution is to kill half of everything. The fact that Thanos doesn't think of using the gauntlet for anything other than killing people is a problem in it of itself. I will refer you back to the Shepard scene at the start. Captain Anderson actually has a valid rebuttal for what Shepard said.
Sometimes 1,000 people must die so 1,000,000 can live.
But only if there's no other way. Saren doesn't even look for another option. He's twisted, broken.
Absolutely necessary. When you're God, is it absolutely necessary to destroy half the population just so that everything else could survive? Thanos deciding to kill 50% of the universe just highlights the fact that he is evil. The heroes do sacrifice themselves. They are throwing themselves at a godlike being just to save everything. And when Vision asked Captain America, hey, didn't you make a sacrifice way back when? That was because there was no other option. Heroes will only make the hard decisions when it's absolutely necessary. There has to be a way. And if there's no other way, I'd rather it be me.
It's not gonna be a safe landing. But I can try and force it down.
I'll get Howard on the line. He'll know what to do.
There's not enough time. This thing's moving too fast and it's heading for New York. I gotta put her in the water.
Please, don't do this. We have time. We can work it out.
Right now, I'm in the middle of nowhere. If I wait any longer, a lot of people are gonna die.
Yondu, what are you doing? You can't. Yondu! No. No! Oh! Fuck! No! No! Oh, no!
So I really liked Infinity War. Thanks for watching until the end, guys. Tell me what you think of the movie in the comments below. If you like to see more of this stuff, consider subscribing. Click that bell for notifications, and I'll see you on the next one.